If a woman is interested in you, she's unlikely to directly say, "I want you," because that's not typically how attraction works. Instead, women often express their interest in more subtle, nuanced ways. Small gestures and silent cues are usually the telltale signs of attraction, signals that many men often overlook. Attraction doesn't often shout, it whispers. I can vouch for this as a woman. It's not common for us to say outright, "I like you." Instead, we communicate it through quiet, indirect actions. In this guide, I'll share 7 subtle signs women display when they're attracted but aren't ready to openly admit it. Pay close attention because signal number 4 tends to happen almost instinctively when the connection is genuine. Before diving in, here's a quick question. Have you ever found yourself wondering if a woman was interested in you? If so, keep reading because these signals can help you decode her feelings. Starting with one of the most common yet frequently misunderstood indicators of attraction, physical touch. This seemingly casual gesture often holds a deeper meaning. For instance, she might brush your arm as if by accident, lightly touch your shoulder, adjust your collar, or even pick off invisible lint from your shirt. Many men dismiss these as meaningless or random acts, but they're anything but. Here's the key. If a woman feels indifferent or has no romantic interest in someone, she's likely to maintain her physical boundaries clearly. Personal space is essential to most of us, and crossing it isn't something we do without intention or comfort. This is why her readiness to break that invisible boundary can be so telling. Women rarely initiate physical contact with someone they have no feelings for. Think about your own experiences. Has a woman ever touched your arm while laughing at something you said, or adjusted something on you during a conversation? These gestures are subtle but reveal something significant: comfort and curiosity. Physical contact often becomes a way of testing the waters. It's her way of assessing the dynamic between you. Your reaction provides insight into your confidence and comfort levels. It's worth noting that this touch doesn't usually surface out of nowhere. Before that casual brush of the arm or shoulder happens, another signal often preempts it: the gradual reduction of physical distance. Her body language starts to subtly change before contact is made. This behavior stems from a psychological concept called personal space. Every individual has an unspoken boundary they naturally maintain with others. We tend to keep people we're indifferent to, like strangers or acquaintances, at an arm's length. However, when attraction enters the picture, these boundaries begin to dissolve little by little. For instance, imagine you're having a conversation while sitting across from her. You might notice her leaning in slightly while listening attentively, or her body subtly angling toward you even when others are present around her. Maybe she edges closer throughout the interaction, almost imperceptibly shrinking the physical distance between the two of you. These small adjustments may seem insignificant on the surface, but in reality, they carry profound meaning. People move closer to what's interesting them and create space from what is not. When someone is curious about or drawn to another person, they naturally gravitate toward them without even realizing it. This proximity allows them to connect more deeply, picking up on subtle cues like tone of voice and body language. However, here is where misunderstandings happen again. Many men fail to pick up on these subtle movements or misinterpret them as coincidental rather than intentional cues. Recognizing these small signs of interest can make all the difference in navigating intimate and meaningful connections.
Sometimes, when a woman leans in, a man might instinctively lean back. He worries he could be intruding on her space or making things uncomfortable, so he creates distance. However, this reaction can unintentionally weaken the moment. If she moved closer, it's likely because she already feels comfortable in that shared space. The key isn't to lean toward her aggressively or force anything. It's simply to avoid retreating. Stay relaxed and maintain the natural space between you. When that distance feels mutual and comfortable, it fosters a subtle intimacy that sets the interaction apart from a casual exchange. Body language plays a crucial role in attraction because it often conveys sentiments that words cannot. While speech can be polite or neutral, the body frequently speaks a more genuine truth. Noticing these small shifts in proximity and posture can help you differentiate between someone who's friendly and someone who is genuinely interested in you. But what's fascinating is that attraction isn't always signaled by movement. Sometimes it appears in the quietest moments. In those pauses, when neither person speaks or moves, the strongest signal might emerge in prolonged eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most powerful forms of nonverbal communication. During typical conversations, people often make brief eye contact before glancing away to keep the interaction light and comfortable, avoiding an intensity that might feel overwhelming. However, attraction often disrupts this pattern. When drawn to someone, a woman's gaze may linger for just a little longer, perhaps 3 seconds, 4, or even more if the moment feels right. This subtle shift can transform the energy of a conversation entirely. You might notice her maintaining eye contact while you speak, her attention more focused than usual. Maybe she smiles faintly or refrains from looking away during a natural pause, choosing instead to hold your gaze. These moments may seem fleeting, but they are deeply significant. Sustained eye contact fosters connection and builds an unspoken sense of intimacy without the need for words. At this juncture, many men make a common misstep, breaking eye contact too quickly. Often this happens out of nervousness or unease with the heightened intensity of the moment. But when that connection is severed too soon, an opportunity for deeper connection dissipates. Confidence in these moments doesn't mean staring intensely or asserting dominance. It's about staying calm and allowing the moment to linger naturally. That small act of holding eye contact just a second longer than usual can shift the atmosphere. The conversation becomes more intimate, more engaging, sometimes even electric as attraction begins to manifest visibly through the eyes. The eyes communicate curiosity, attentiveness, and emotions yet unspoken. However, there's an even subtler sign of attraction that doesn't involve eyes at all: the voice. While often overlooked, a person's tone, rhythm, and warmth can reveal their feelings in ways they may not even realize. When a woman feels attracted to someone, her voice tends to change involuntarily. It may soften, slow down, or take on a warmer quality. In contrast to the quick, casual tone she might use with friends or colleagues, her voice may carry a sense of intimacy during such moments. You might notice her speaking more gently, with lowered tones, as if the dialogue has shifted into a private space, even in a public setting. These nuances aren't usually deliberate, they're subtle physical responses triggered by genuine emotions. Ultimately, noticing these small yet meaningful signals, be it through proximity, eye contact, or tone of voice, can help you better understand and navigate moments of attraction with greater attunement and confidence. When we feel at ease and captivated by someone, our nervous system responds by relaxing, and this relaxation often manifests in our voice. The tone becomes gentler, more expressive, and occasionally even a bit playful. Speaking from experience as a woman, I can say this change is often subconscious. Most women aren't thinking, "I need to adjust my voice to appear more appealing." It's a natural reaction when we genuinely enjoy someone's company. However, there's a nuance here that some men might overlook. You might notice a difference in how she speaks to you versus others nearby. With other people, her tone might be more neutral or casual, but with you, it carries a noticeable warmth or attentiveness. This subtle distinction is meaningful because attraction often surfaces in these small, involuntary adjustments. It's not about dissecting every word she says. Instead, focus on the emotional tone. Does the interaction feel more personal, engaging, or intimate compared to others? If so, that might not be coincidental. That said, another key indicator often accompanies this change in tone: laughter. It's simple, natural, and yet incredibly telling. When a woman is attracted to someone, her laughter tends to increase.
Now, laughter alone isn't absolute proof of attraction, since some people are naturally cheerful or easily amused. However, if a woman consistently laughs more in your presence than she does with others, it may reflect a deeper connection. Laughter is more than just humor. It's about building a bridge of comfort and camaraderie. When two people feel at ease with one another, laughter becomes an organic way to lower barriers, foster warmth, and make the interaction feel pleasant and secure. Interestingly enough, when a woman is drawn to someone, even their mediocre jokes can seem funnier than they really are. A simple comment might elicit a warm chuckle or a wide smile. Moments that others wouldn't bat an eye at may spark genuine joy in her. It's not necessarily that you've morphed into a comedian, but that attraction alters perception. It makes even the mundane feel special. Sometimes, her laughter is accompanied by small signals that enrich the atmosphere. She might lightly touch your arm while laughing, lean in closer as you speak, or maintain an air of playfulness long after the humorous exchange has passed. Together, these subtle signals create a relaxed and enjoyable dynamic. The mistake some men make at this point is shifting into serious or overly analytical mode, inadvertently extinguishing the lighthearted energy sparked by the laughter. The best course of action? Stay present and maintain the easygoing flow of the conversation. When both people can genuinely enjoy each other's company and feel free to be themselves, attraction often flourishes naturally. Interestingly enough, another unconscious behavior tied to attraction may occur in these moments of connection, an action so subtle that it's often unnoticed. A woman might begin fidgeting with her hair in your presence. While it seems simple on the surface, this gesture can reveal much more beneath. Touching or adjusting hair is one of the most common subconscious reactions linked to attraction. When a woman is drawn to someone, her awareness of how she presents herself sometimes shifts unconsciously, and one of the easiest expressions of this is through her hair. She might tuck it behind her ear while speaking to you, twirl it between her fingers as she listens, or gently smooth it down and move it away from her face. These actions aren't calculated signals, but natural gestures that often go unnoticed, even by her. On a psychological level, such small movements reflect heightened awareness and interest in how she appears to you, another subtle yet meaningful expression of chemistry. While none of these behaviors can single-handedly confirm attraction, when viewed together with other elements like tone and laughter, they paint a compelling picture of connection taking shape. When we find ourselves drawn to someone, we naturally become more conscious of our appearance. Subtle grooming habits start to surface effortlessly because, on a subconscious level, we want to show ourselves in the best light. In this context, hair often takes center stage. It's deeply tied to notions of femininity, beauty, and personal expression. That's why it frequently becomes a focal point when a woman feels slightly nervous or excited in the presence of someone she likes. Speaking from experience as a woman, this reaction is far from unusual. When we're interacting with someone we're attracted to, there is typically a mix of nervous excitement bubbling beneath the surface. Touching our hair tends to be a small yet significant way to channel that energy. It serves a dual purpose, helping release tension while also giving us a chance to ensure we look our best in the moment. That said, interpreting such behavior requires context. An isolated gesture, like touching her hair once during a conversation, may not mean much. But if you notice this happening multiple times, particularly alongside warm body language such as eye contact, smiling, or a friendly demeanor, the behavior might contribute to a broader signal of interest. For example, you might observe her tucking her hair behind her ear while looking at you, laughing at something you said, and then subtly adjusting her hair again. These small actions can form a quiet rhythm that conveys attraction. Attraction is most reliably revealed not in single actions, but in consistent patterns. Recognizing such patterns can help distinguish between casual friendliness and deeper interest. Still, there's one key indicator many men misunderstand. It doesn't come from physical gestures at all, but from the questions she asks. Curiosity is one of the clearest nonverbal signals of attraction. If a woman is truly interested in a man, she will often engage in conversation that goes beyond surface-level chatter. Small talk shifts into more personal territory as she seeks to understand who you really are. She might inquire about your work and why you enjoy it, your hobbies, your goals, or even your perspectives on relationships or future aspirations. While these may seem like everyday questions, they reveal something deeper, her emotional investment and desire to comprehend you more fully. As she becomes increasingly curious, this interest might also manifest in subtle ways. She may ask thoughtful follow-up questions about topics you mention, or bring up something you shared earlier in the conversation to explore it further. These moments are revealing because they go beyond just politeness or conversational flow. They show an intent to connect on a deeper level and to assess if you're someone she could genuinely spend more time getting to know. However, it's easy to misinterpret or overlook this curiosity. Sometimes men assume such questions are merely polite conversation starters and respond with brief or dismissive answers. This can unintentionally close the door on building a deeper bond. When a woman expresses curiosity about your life, it's often an invitation to establish connection and trust. The best approach is straightforward. Answer openly and sincerely, while also reciprocating by showing genuine interest in her experiences and thoughts. When mutual curiosity emerges between two people, the conversation can transcend ordinary dialogue, becoming a meaningful exchange. Over time, you start noticing how these seemingly small signals, her laughter, eye contact, subtle touches of her hair, align with other expressions of curiosity and attention. It all feeds into a larger pattern. The key takeaway is this: no single signal definitively indicates attraction. A playful laugh might simply arise from finding something amusing. Touching her hair could be merely a habit. Prolonged eye contact might happen naturally during certain interactions, but attraction typically makes itself known through consistent patterns rather than isolated moments. Spotting these patterns is where understanding begins.
When multiple signals occur simultaneously, the overall message becomes much more apparent. Picture a scenario where someone maintains prolonged eye contact, laughs effortlessly at your remarks, leans slightly closer as you speak, and gently touches your arm at some point. While any one of these actions on its own could be coincidental, together they create a pattern that's hard to overlook. This illustrates that understanding attraction isn't about memorizing a checklist, but about observing the bigger picture in the dynamic between two people. Attraction unfolds as a pattern, not a singular moment. As you start tuning into these subtle patterns, you may notice an interesting shift. Conversations begin to feel more transparent. Guesswork diminishes. You become better at recognizing when someone's actions stem from politeness versus genuine interest. This heightened awareness can profoundly impact your interactions. Instead of second-guessing or overanalyzing, you become more relaxed and present in the moment. You pick up on cues, react naturally, and allow the interaction to flow authentically rather than forcing it. However, there's an important distinction that many overlook. These signals don't necessarily imply an eagerness to rush into anything. Attraction marks the start of something, not its endpoint. It's an invitation for connection, not a conclusion. True chemistry stems from building comfort, trust, and emotional connection over time. This is where confidence plays a crucial role, not a brash or overbearing confidence, but a calm, grounded self-assurance. With this kind of confidence, you can acknowledge the signals, appreciate them, and respond with ease rather than pressure. Ultimately, the idea is straightforward. The person who notices these signals is often the one who stands out.
Now, let's open up the conversation. Were any of these signals surprising to you? Or have you ever realized too late that someone was expressing interest in subtle ways that you missed? Share your experiences. They might just help someone else identify those moments in the future.